Endwalker marked both an ending and a new beginning for the main story of Final Fantasy XIV. Patch 6.1 marked the beginning of our new journey, a new adventure, exploring the unknown and encountering many new challenges. With patch 6.2 on the horizon, here is a quick story recap of the events of Endwalker patch 6.1, Newfound Adventure. We begin at the Rising Stones. Despite the Scions disbanding, nothing has really changed here. Tataru has taken over management of the place, and using it to develop her new business and crafting endeavours. As you plan where your newfound freedom may take you, Tataru inquires about the same, suggesting a new beginning, to return to your adventuring roots. The words of Emmett Selk ring in your mind.
Tell, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty?
Tataru sees our passion for adventure ignite once more, and she prepares us a brand new set of adventuring clothes. An amazing set, I must say, but in Tataru fashion it's both for us and her, as we will market her crafts on our journey, drumming up interest in her business, leading into the side content of Tataru's great endeavour. We got free armour out of it, so why not? Tataru recommends we head to Radzadhan to begin the search for the bounty's riches. A professor in a local bar named Jalheen knows something about it, and proceeds to talk the ear off us in the process. I for one hung on his every word, I couldn't get enough of the lore. He tells us about Alzadal III, the satrap of an earlier age, who legend tells made a pact with a dragon. The stories even state Alzadal travelled to other worlds, and all the riches he returned with were hidden away in the bounty. He directs us to a local peddler who seems to be selling maps to this location.
What's all this about?
Now it's not so simple, however, as many dangers lie before the treasure. Fame and fortune await those who buy this map. A young kid pleads with the peddler to buy the map, but he doesn't have the funds. Okay, this is all obviously a con and the kid's in on it. No one's gonna fall for this.
I'll take it. Will this cover the price?
Oh no. Estinian buys the map from the peddler. Before we can chastise him for his spending habits, he states he knew the whole thing was a con, but the map itself might be genuine. Plus he believed the kid's plight, desperate to help himself and his family. Both you and Estinian sense adventure, and begin planning for the journey. We have a run-in with Matsuya, who aids us in procuring a ship for the voyage. And we're told that most never return from the trip to find the treasure of the bounty, and should probably bring some allies to help if we're going to survive. This leads us to Sharlayan, and the moment Graha gets a sense of a new adventure afoot, joins us right away.
You should go, Raha. I'll stay here and mind the shop, as it were.
We need to find another ally to complete our light party, so we get Y'shtola to aid us. We find her busy in the libraries of Sharlayan, ever seeking a way to safely travel to the other reflections.
How long have you two been here?
She seems inspired by the world-travelling feats of Alzadal III, and they may shine a light of inspiration on her research, so she agrees to come along with us. We have a brief reunion between the Scions near the Ragnarok, but they agree they shouldn't all go to the bounty, lest rumours swirl about their activities. The Scions are supposed to be disbanded after all. Thancred will be sitting this one out, and will instead be doing reconnaissance in the Far East. But we can't keep Urianger from this mystery, and he agrees to tag along. Back in Thavnir, you and the party set sail and arrive at a lonely island in the bounty. You traverse the island's ruins, besting the beasts that call it home, and find a means of transport that takes you deep beneath the waves to Alzadal's legacy, the place holding the treasures of the bounty. You fight your way through this massive undersea complex, besting all the traps and machinations set to guard it, before arriving at the central chambers, whose walls and floors lay covered in gold and riches. Upon defeating the treasure's final guardian, you behold a sealed alchemical furnace. Your senses tell you something is lurking inside. Before you get your chance to open it, Varshan, aka Vitra, shows up telling us to stay away from it.
Stop! You mustn't touch it.
Turns out as Satrap, Vitra is in control of Alzadal's legacy, and the moment we attacked its first guardians, he was alerted and headed over here himself. He informs us that the treasure here was built up in the event of Thavnir having need of it, and that time had finally come. Since we came this far, and curious about the furnace, Vitra breaks the seal and opens it, revealing what Graha identifies as a stable and functional void gate, a path to and from the void of the 13th.
And even further,
Vitra goes on to tell us why it's here and its history.
5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Merasidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors. In response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ashdaya. No matter how many of their vile fiends we cast down, more rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble. She plunged through the Void Gate itself to strike at the root of their strength. I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alag's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her.
Over the years, before Raz-Zatan's founding, Vitra searched for a way to enter the void, and chanced to find a planar fissure at the bottom of the bounty. The fissure was too small for Vitra, so he spent many years with Thavnir's alchemists to create a void gate, and widen it enough for a small being to pass through. Now this is just a theory, but this gate being so small was likely the reason Vitra had Varshan created, so he could enter the void himself. Long story short, he didn't find her, only darkness and void send on the other side. So he left and sealed the void gate, so no other void send could pass through. We all decide to lend our aid to Vitra and discover what happened to Ashdaya. But to do this, we need to enter the void ourselves. Estinian leaves to inform the young kid from earlier that things for him and his family will finally be okay. We proceed on a journey to discover a method of crossing safely, as well as protecting ourselves once we're there. The void is hazardous to any life without suitable protection. If you recall, Nero was heavily altered from his stay in the void, while we with our blessing remained unharmed. It's at this point that we realise that the warding scales, originally designed to prevent primal tempering, may actually be the key to all this. Soon enough, Y'shtola and Nidhana come up with a test to see what the effects will be like on 2 Nixies that Y'shtola will summon and then send into the void, one of which will be holding a warding scale.
Water, water, froth and fire!
This one will bear a warding scale.
Nixies, into the void.
The Nixie with the warding scale was unharmed, but the scale needed some physical reinforcement in order to allow for a prolonged stay. But protection is just one element to this. The other is reaching the void itself. The void gate we know is too small for anything bigger than a Nixie to pass through, so we're going to need something bigger. For that, we turn to the knowledge left by the alchemists all those years ago, the ones who helped create this void gate. They left a copy of their research in Charlian's archives. Upon retrieving them, we learned that they created an artificial Atomos that would be used to fashion the Void Gate. An Atomos is a special type of void scent, unique in that they can create fissures and portals within their endless maws. These fissures can manifest as void gates for other void scent to pass through, but it can also go both ways, allowing us to travel into the void. Two sets of tasks begin at this stage. We enlist the help of Garland Ironworks with the reinforcement of the warding scales, while Nidhana, her staff and Y'shtola work on research to create an artificial Atomos. Vitra has also come to a decision and will be travelling alongside us to the void as Varshan, while his dragon form remains at Ras Adhan. But there are two important elements of patch 6.1 I haven't discussed yet, arguably the most important revelations of the story. The first is an appearance of a void entity on the 13th. This being turns out to be the void scent avatar of Xenos himself, who we have not seen since the latter's death at the end of 6.0. This being will have a major part to play in 6.2, but I won't do any spoilers. However, if you want to know, check out my breakdown of the trailer for patch 6.2.
And thus I am returned. To this world, bereft of saviors.
The second revelation is a glimpse at figures that appear to be powerful leaders in the void. These are represented as thrones of the elements, and they seem to have sensed our sending the Nixies into the void, but they deem this as unimportant, as they have other important matters to attend to. It seems that a war is coming, and they have waited 10,000 years for this exact moment. The one in charge of them seems to be none other than Golbez from Final Fantasy IV. He states that it's time for their war to begin, and it's for the redemption of their star. And that is where the story of patch 6.1 ends. Patch 6.2 is expected to pick up where we left off, with the prepared warding scales and completion of the Atomos, so the Warrior of Light, Estinian, Y'shtola and Varshan can make the journey into the void. Thanks for watching everyone. 6.2 is just around the corner, so I hope this serves as a good refresher for the story as it stands right now. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, consider leaving a like and your opinion on the subject in the comments. Lastly, consider subscribing to my channel. I have tons of videos already uploaded and many more to come. Thanks all, and now, as always, have a good one.